Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to the channel. This is Red Dissection and breaking down Manchester United victory, 2-0 victory against Wigan Athletic in the FA Cup. To be honest, United would win the League One if they were playing in it. There was a big gulf of difference in terms of quality in both the teams. Wigan Athletic are 17 in League One, and I think United will be around the top 2 or 3 in the League One if they are playing in that league. But honestly, it was shambolic for Manchester United. Players like Rasmus Højlund, Scott McTominay, Bruno Fernandes. I mean, they would find it hard to get into the Wigan Athletic team. I mean, Rasmus Højlund was knocked off the ball. He was losing possession. He was not able to run away from League One defenders. Scott McTominay was outmuscled, outmaneuvered by League One midfielders. Apart from Kobe Mainu and Diogo Dalot, who looked decent on the ball, there wasn't much difference in terms of quality in both the teams. Wigan Athletic weren't hoofing the ball. They weren't playing route one football. They weren't playing long balls. They were passing through a press. The centre back, their goalkeeper were absolutely comfortable in keeping the ball and playing around our forwards. Obviously, our forwards aren't adept at pressing well. They do it half-heartedly, and there are so many opportunities for opposition to play through our press. And that is what Wigan Athletic showed. Sean Maloney would have been impressed by the courage that Wigan Athletic showed. Obviously, they didn't have much quality in the final third. Having said that, they had the first opportunity of the game, and a Premier League team or even a Championship side would have taken that opportunity, and that could have been a different game altogether for Manchester United. I don't think United take anything out of this match. Bruno Fernandes dived. That was clear. I mean, he had to cheat to, get one of his goals for his fact sheet. It was embarrassing, but he wasn't the only one. I mean, Marcus Rashford was unable to beat any of the League One defenders he faced against. He was embarrassing as well. Nacho was certainly better than Marcus Rashford, certainly a lot better than Marcus Rashford, but he clearly isn't cut out for this level of football. I'm not talking about League One, of course. I'm talking about Manchester United and the Premier League and Champions League. He's certainly not ready, and I don't think he'll ever reach that higher echelon of football that he could merit to be in a starting lineup of any top 4 side. We had opportunities to kill the match. We had a plethora of shots. Not many of them were quality shots. The keeper had a decent game, but I wouldn't say he was scurrying to save shots all over the place. There weren't many clear-cut chances, though there were a couple of those, especially that fell to Højlund, who was absolutely trash. I mean, after the goal against Aston Villa and having that monkey off his back, it didn't show any difference in terms of his confidence, in terms of his technical output. It was absolutely shambles. To be honest, what was even more off-putting was the post-match comments from Erik ten Hag. He was trying to mollycoddle his own drab play style. He was trying to pretend that it was such an entertaining game and we had loads of chances to absolutely blow Wigan Athletic away, but it wasn't the case. And the fact that he lies so much, every word or every answer that he gives, it seems like a poorly thought of lie. And to be honest, it's come to a point where it's just so hard to hear him speak, be it in his pre-match conferences or post-match presentations. It is embarrassing. Coming to statistics, obviously United had 2/3 of the ball. They had 30 odd shots, 14 of them on target, but they weren't like quality shots. Some were feeble shots, some were easy saves, and some were bounced a couple of times before reaching the keeper even. So they weren't like high quality chances. Obviously, Højlund had a couple of sitters which he missed, and it certainly drained more confidence out of him. But apart from that, I don't think we were clinical. I don't think we were, threatening in the final third. Our wingers were absolutely dire, especially Marcus Rashford. Obviously, Garnacho was better than Marcus, but he was also neutralized to a great degree. Højlund was horrid. Bruno Fernandes was Bruno Fernandes. It was his usual performance. Even though the stats say that we had so many shots, those weren't really clear-cut chances. Not all of them, and certainly the shots we did offer on target weren't really clinical. And to be honest, the best player on the pitch was a Wigan Athletic player. I think his name is Goro, and I think he's on loan from Fulham, but I'm not sure. But he looked impressive. He could easily play in the Premier League. And obviously, again in United side against the likes of Anthony or even Marcus Rashford right now. So you could see that Wigan Athletic don't have the kind of quality, the goal scoring threat. It was an easy enough game for Andre Onana. I really don't understand why is he playing in this match. Why was he playing in this match? And why is he staying behind for the Tottenham match? Eric Ten Hag seems to be, hanging his hat on Andre Onana, saving his blushes. The fact that Bayern there hasn't looked in for a match like Wigan away in FA Cup, it is embarrassing. Ten Hag seems to enjoy a level of impunity, and there is no sense of accountability for these decisions. Until he gets a boot, we won't know why the likes of Pelistri, Mabry, who was also brought in for last 2-3 minutes, that was also comical. He didn't look interested as well. I thought Mabry's expressions were quite clear that he was embarrassed and he was hurt by the way he was treated by Eric Ten Hag. So we won't know until he gets a sack that what was the reason behind all this, really absurd and strange decision. Even in a game like FA Cup third round against Wigan Athletic, who are in League One, the fact that our youngsters one brought in apart from last few minutes, it was strange, and sadly that goes against the grain for this great club and our confidence in our youth and our ability to be brave in these situations and give the youth a chance to show what they're made of and throw them in the deep end at such a young age. Coming to player ratings, Andre Onana was all right. I mean, he made a good save to begin with. If he had conceded that chance, I think it could have been a different game altogether because Wigan Athletic weren't afraid of Manchester United. They had come to play and they were playing their game. And if they had that, burst of confidence to begin with, and the crowd was certainly would have, got behind the team, then it could have been a different game altogether. Onana didn't have many threats against his goal. His distribution was all right, though I thought that he was quite often ponderous on the ball, taking too much time and too many touches on the ball. And that just set the rhythm and pattern of the game, starting from the goalkeeper itself. So I won't give him low score because he didn't make that save and he kept a clean sheet, but it was an alright game for Onana. Rafael Varane had few clumsy moments, but apart from that, he was in trouble. It was an easy enough game for him. I just didn't understand why Kambala didn't get the start. He could have Eric Ten Hag could have easily rested Varane for this. He wasn't needed in this kind of match, and Kambala would have given him some valuable experience, especially in a away fixture in a cup match. So another loss for Eric Ten Hag, I think, on that front. And Rafael Varane was decent. He wasn't trouble too much, and it was an alright performance for Varane as well. Johnny Evans was ditto. I mean, he didn't have much to contend with. Obviously, Humphreys, while he was still on the pitch, he looked half fit to be honest. He did give some trouble, and he was decent in possession of the ball. Goro had few runs against the centre backs. He looked decent on the ball, and especially with his half turns, 180s, and 360s. Johnny Evans, overall, he was decent. On the ball, also, he was decent. Nothing spectacular. Diogo Dalot was the best player for Manchester United, sadly. He scored a brilliant goal, brilliant finish. It's almost become his trademark finish, the classy finish shot. Even on the ball, he was decent. He was building from the back, was running with the ball. His dribbling was good. Defensively, also, he looks more comfortable on that flank against wingers who usually cut on the left foot. So he was decent, and but we know his limitation. Go another level up at championship level or certainly at the Premier League. He's certainly not good enough as an all-round fullback, and even though he could be a good option as a backup, and he could play cup matches, but certainly not a starter for Manchester United. In midfield, Kobe Mainoo had a good game. He was the linchpin for Manchester United. He was running the show as far as rhythm and tempo of the match was concerned. He was good on possession. He was nonchalant in possession, and defensively, he looked more impressive to me. I mean, he was putting out fires, a few of them, as Wigan Athletic didn't muster too many opportunities to really hurt us. But he was decent, couple of counter attacks. He did well to cover one of the fullbacks, and physically, he looked a lot more prepared for this match. Obviously, I'd like to see him being more enterprising, take more onus on himself to create more opportunities and advance the ball forward more. He did have a good shot, which the keeper saved. I think he can easily score a few more goals. 4 or 5 at least for a season. And it was a decent performance from Meno. Scott McTominay was invisible. Even League One players looked more comfortable on the ball and in possession of the ball, positionally more aware than he did. I didn't understand where he was playing. He was really shying away from the ball. He wasn't getting into the box at the right time, nor was he involved in the build-up. Uh, on the ball, in possession, he lost a couple of balls. He doesn't seem to possess any kind of decent first touch. His passing is abject, and the only ability he seems to have is strike a good shot. But he didn't get too many opportunities for that. Obviously, one of the opportunities I think Hoyland took off of him. Apart from that, he had a couple of half chances in the box, but I don't think he's good enough to play as a supporting striker, and certainly he's not good enough to play in midfield. He's just not good enough for this team, even against a side like Wigan Athletic. Garnacho played on the right wing, and he was certainly the more threatening of our forwards. He was decent in a few circumstances, especially on the right flank. But overall, I think he was adequately neutralized by Wigan Athletic. I mean, they were playing with five at the back, so the four wing backs were, quite high. So he did get some opportunities to run behind them. His partnership with Wan-Bissaka was decent. Obviously, Wan-Bissaka is comfortable in terms of possession. Sadly, he's not good with passing and combination plays. So Garnacho did suffer from that. But overall, I think since Rashford seems more dangerous on the left flank, Garnacho has to play on the right. Obviously, Anthony hasn't shown much promise, especially this season. So I can see him, Garnacho, playing on that flank against Tottenham as well. Bruno Fernandes is a cheat. He cheated against Wigan Athletic. I mean, he nicked a penalty from them. Literally, he would nick food from the homeless. Honestly, it was embarrassing. He's a charlatan. He's just a weak man. That's what he is. He was petulant again, demonstrating with the official still. In a lot of moments, he was overpowered physically as well. People ran past him easily. Attacking wise, he didn't create anything, and he had to dive to get an opportunity to add to his fact sheet and GA. But overall, he was an embarrassment, like he usually is for Manchester United. And to have him as captain is even more diabolical. And I mean, it's symptomatic of the reign under Eric Ten Hag. We had Harry Maguire as the captain, and he was a big problem. And now Bruno Fernandes is his successor, and he seems to be an even bigger problem. Marcus Rashford was also abysmal. I mean, he couldn't get past his man. He seems to have lost a lot of pace. I mean, there is no acceleration in his feet. He couldn't get past the fullback on either of the flanks, and he looked clueless. He looked devoid of ideas. Even the tricks weren't working. He was running into players. His crossing was poor. His use of the ball is always questionable, but sadly in this match it was even worse than it usually is. He didn't look confident. He was taking shots from all sorts of angles just to get a shot on target. He wasn't even close to getting a goal in this match. And obviously, he had a few opportunities to cross the ball, look up, and find his striker Hoyland. But I mean, this is a complaint against all of our wingers. They don't create much. Obviously, Ahmad coming back could change that for us, but with Rashford and Garnacho, I don't think we'll create much. And this was another embarrassing performance from Marcus Rashford. Rasmus Hoyland was exposed really. His touch was awful. His control of ball was non-existent. His physical attribute seems to have dissolved. He lacks basic strength to like hold up defenders, even League One defenders. His confidence is short, certainly, and he seems to have lost that burst of speed that we saw against Galatasaray, especially. So I don't know what to think of him. I mean, obviously there is a lot of pressure on him with the price tag and also carrying that number 9 shirt on his back. But he sadly isn't ready. I don't think he'll ever be ready or good enough for the number 9 position because 20 years of age isn't too young. I mean, we've seen the likes of Wayne Rooney, Cristiano Ronaldo, even people like Danny Welbeck and Marcus Rashford. Even at the age of 20, you knew that what they could offer for their position. Hoyland seems to lack so much in his game to play in this position for this club. And the fact that Martial is on his way out, I think Hoyland will continue to play, but I think we will continue to suffer to see him struggle through this position and in this team. He got a few opportunities in this match. It wasn't like it was a complete graveyard shift. There were opportunities. There were like gilt edge opportunities in this match, and he missed them. He never looked confident enough to be able to seize upon those. So I think I think confidence has to play a big part in this, but even his technical ability seems to be lacking, and I think there is a bigger problem than just confidence and his psychological makeup right now, and it has a lot to do with the fact that he's not physically ready for this level of football, for this level of physicality, and this wasn't even a Premier League game, so I think he needs a lot of work, and he's too raw right now to carry any kind of promise to salvage a season from here on in. It remains to be seen who we sign in the summer window, and just bring someone experienced to give him more protection, more support in sharing that kind of burden, goal scoring burden for Manchester United. Coming to substitution, Kambala came in and played on the right back position. Obviously, Wan-Bissaka went into Dalo's position, who went off. He played all right, nothing spectacular. I didn't even notice him that much. He was playing in the fullback position, which is, I'm sure, it's something new for him, and he did all right. But there wasn't much threat. United had most of the ball, so there wasn't many wingers running at him at that point of time. Agodo, who switched to the left flank against Aaron Bissaka, went back again on the right flank. So there wasn't much threat against him. And McManaman, who came on late for them, he looked too old to give any kind of trouble to Willie. It was a decent performance for Kambala. Pelisti came on late for Kambala. It's a travesty that he only gets this handful of minutes. The fact that he didn't start this match was embarrassing. I mean, Erik Ten Hag is killing their careers. So many of them. Don't even the big didn't get opportunities. Facundo Pellistri hasn't gotten any real opportunities. Even the likes of Mabry have been frozen out, really. Sofian Amrabat seems to have completely gone off the scene. So I think I can't ask too much of him. I can't be too harsh of Pellistri. He always looks right when he comes, even for these like 5 or 10 minutes. But the fact that Erik Ten Hag has played with the career of this young fellow, it is. I feel sorry for him, and I just hope that he can get a good move and show us the ability he has, which I think all of us can see, even in spurts. But I just hope that for his own career, he gets a good move. Omari Forson came on for Marcus Rashford. Didn't get much time. I mean, 3-4 minutes of regulation time. Didn't get too much on the ball. Wasn't involved in any of the plays. So nothing to score him on. There wasn't any data to score him on. But he kept his position well, I guess. He made a couple of passes. Nothing noteworthy. He didn't make any mistakes. So an alright performance. So I can't even say that he got good experience and minutes under his belt, because he didn't get many minutes. He didn't get valuable experience. But that's down to the manager. Hannibal Mabry came on for last 4 or 5 minutes, and he looked pissed. To be honest, he didn't look happy. Even after the full-time whistle, you could see that he didn't want to shake the manager's hand. Obviously, there have been news bites that he's going on loan. I think he should just get out of here. I just think that Erik Ten Hag lacks basic human decency. He lacks empathy, even for young players, and he makes mockery of his young players. And I think a lot of young players are suffering under him. His tenure, he doesn't come across as somebody affable or acts like a guardian for such young players. And I think he can ruin many careers, and maybe could be one of those. So for him, for his sake, until we get a new manager, it's better that he goes out on loan. And Sevilla is a good place for young players and technical players. I think it might turn out to be a blessing for him if he goes to La Liga, and absolutely balls out there. So inshallah for him, he can get this move and get valuable experience in La Liga. Erik Ten Hag was embarrassing. I mean, the fact that he played all his first team Premier League side against League One Wigan Athletic just shows the fact that meek person he is afraid. He knows that the writing is on the wall for him, and he just didn't want to, get embarrassed again. He lacks bravery. He lacks courage. He lacks any ability to inspire his players. He lacks ability to empathize with his young players, to understand their struggles, and to get them to perform at a decent enough level. No players under him have improved. They have all regressed. And the player who were already bad, the likes of Bruno McTominay, seems to have got even worse under him, because they have this sense of immunity and impunity, and they know they're going to play irrespective of their stinkers. So Eric Ten Hag seems to engender, continuation of that festering of standards at this club. And until he gets the boot, until he gets the sack, I unfortunately don't see anything changing. And we just have to ride this one out with him. I think we could really get our backsides handed to us against Tottenham. They don't have players like Son, who have gone for Asian Cup and African Cup of Nations. Papasa has gone for that. They won't be running in top gear, but I think with the philosophy Ange has shown, even mediocre players have adopted that religiously, and I can see them winning at Old Trafford. But the fact that they play with a suicidal high line, it could play in our favor, and with the L1 triangle spam merchant in Bruno Fernandes, we could get a few goals on the counter attack. But if Spurs get that first goal, it could be embarrassing. And with the Postecoglou, he doesn't hold back. He doesn't relent on his attacking philosophy. So it could be, the result could go either way. It depends on the first goal, I think. But this match certainly showed, even after 1.5 years, there hasn't been any appreciable or perceptible change in our style of play. Any progression that we saw last year has completely eroded, and I don't see any sign of, or I don't see any promise or any signs of revitalization in this club. And even when he gets his favorites like Martinez back, I don't see our style of play changing or our fortunes completely overhauling, because I don't think the captain at the steering wheel is good enough, and he seems to be running blind, and he seems like a sinking ship for me, with blind following the blind. So with Sir Jim Glazer at the helm now in the footballing operations, well, 25% of him anyway. It remains to be seen what step they take and how long they give to Eric Ten Hag. Maybe the summer. Certainly, the season is a write-off. But if we can get a FA Cup before he leaves, we'll take it. It continues to be a horror show under Eric Ten Hag. He seems to lack any kind of panache, any kind of charisma, and also he lacks emotional intelligence. I mean, the way he treats his young players, especially, is embarrassing. The way he treats his experienced campaigners like Varane and Casemiro, who got him, a trophy last season, is embarrassing. And his talent ID is absolutely shocking. The fact that he hangs his hat on the likes of Harry Maguire and now Bruno Fernandes, his go-to players like Marcus Rashford, even Rasmus Højlund and Alejandro Garnacho, it just shows the fact that this man is just not good enough for this club. As the clock keeps ticking, I can't see him lasting beyond the summer. The only reason I think that he might stay till the summer is the Ineos Glazer partnership will take time to be ratified, and then to get the people in, and they might just hold back that decision till the fact they can get all the men in all the right places and get all their structures established. I have no trust for Jim Glazer and rest of the Glazer family as stewards for this club. So I just don't see things improving even under any new manager, any new structure, because until we see actual pragmatic changes, it is what it is, complete eyewash and complete PR campaign just to control the opposition from the fans. And obviously there seems to be no protest anymore. There seems to be no Glazer out campaigns now, no road shows, no procession anymore. I think the Glazers have won. They know the pulse of this club. They know how the fans can be manipulated, and they have completely neutralized any kind of scrutiny that was building up against them for the last 18 months. And the fact that the big YouTube channels and all the official fan groups like Must are in cahoots and have gotten the golden handshake from the devil himself. It just shows the travesty that this football club is right now, and it has become a meme. It has become a joke, and United continue to be a laughing stock for the rest of the football world. Having said that, we'll continue to hold the fort for the Manchester United fans. We'll continue to get better and bring you better content. Please continue to join us for that. Inshallah, we'll be back with the Red Prep show for the Tottenham game in the Premier League. Please join us for that. So until then, take care, do good, and pray for Palestinians and all the oppressed people all across the globe. Assalamu alaikum.